John, and we are the Lunatics, a team of high schoolers from South Florida. So the challenge we wanted to tackle was the Dust Yourself Off challenge, which concerns the prevalence of moon dust in preventing the success of missions on the moon. So moon dust is created by micrometeorite impacts with the moon's surface, or lunar landings or rocket engines, anything which impacts the surface of the moon. And then sunlight takes this dust and ionizes the particles, which means that they become rapidly moving and they become electrically charged. They end up floating. And that's a problem, as we'll cover later, because they end up becoming very easily embedded in things due to their small size and sharpness. And then they can also have a very negative impact on biology. It was demonstrated by Stony Brook University researchers that exposure to lunar dust killed over 90% of brain and lung cells. And all 100% of people who have ever stepped on the moon's surface have been impacted by moon dust. They've experienced symptoms, and they called it, Schmidt, the astronaut Schmidt, the geologist, called it lunar hay fever. But it goes a lot deeper than just, a stuffy nose, a cough. It can end up permanently scarring lung tissue, and it may actually have long-term effects on your ability to breathe and function. And in addition to human health impacts, it's also terrible for machinery. Because of all this dust that's about maybe a micron large at its smallest, it ends up becoming embedded in spacesuits. It becomes embedded in the sealant, and those are the two most important things because they are what separate the astronaut from the vacuum of space. They are what essentially can guarantee your life, and if they are destroyed by the lunar dust, causing it to rapidly deteriorate, that prevents long-term stays on the moon because you constantly have to replace the sealant and the suits. So our solution to this problem was that we would use, since the lunar dust particles are electrically charged, we would use electromagnetic fields to manipulate the dust in a way to cause it to avoid impacts. So our first item is the rod, the recyclable object decontaminator, which is an electrically charged brush that we can use to clean exposed items. So here's a rendering of the item. Essentially, it contains a single coil and a 9-volt battery, along with a brush head made of fabric. Now, there are also, you can see in this image, 2 switches. One is the power switch, and one determines the flow of electric current in the device. So, once you use the device to clean off an item from these dust particles, you can also take this brush head, it's recyclable, and you can use it to recycle the lunar dust into either moon concrete, which is a fin, and fertilizer, which you can use with hydroponics as a soil.